Good afternoon to you. We will now continue with the Constitution. We have seen in the last class the electoral process. Today we will take electoral reforms. We have already explained that after polling has been completed, the votes are counted under the supervision of returning officers and the observers appointed by the Election Commission. After the counting of votes, the returning officer declares the name of the candidate who has got the largest share of votes as the winner and as having been returned by the constituency. So, the process is over. Now you should know the elections to Lok Sabha and Assembly are carried out using what is popularly known as the first past the post electoral system. Kindly remember, it's a very important topic. The first past the post electoral system. FPTP. First past the post electoral system. This is the system which we follow. What is this FPTP system? It is the one where there are two or more candidates contesting in a single seat territorial constituency. The electors cast one vote each for a candidate. The winner is one who gets more votes than the nearest rival, called plurality of votes. It is in contrast to the term majority of votes, which is one vote more than the 50% of the total valid votes polled. I will give an example. It will be clear to you. Let us say there is an assembly constituency with 2000 voters. The election is held for a post of one MLA. Each voter has a vote. Let us say, out of 2000 voters, the total valid votes polled is 1000. There are 4 candidates, A, B, C, D. Let us say A got 300 votes, B got 250 votes, C got 250 votes, D got 200 votes. That's the total 1000. Now here, A having got the largest number of votes, he is declared elected and is declared as winner, even though he did not get the majority number of voters polled. Compare this 300 to the total voters, he got even 1/6. Still, he is deemed to represent the constituency which consists of 2000 voters. This system is in vogue in India, UK, Canada and USA. This system is also called winner take all system. Winner take all system. Remember, this system is called winner take all system. Now, there is another system, an extended type of FPTP, that is first past the post system, is the one prevailing in France, where there are 2 rounds. The first round, let us say, another example, let us say, in the first round, one gets 300, the another gets 350. So there are 2 rounds. As per the present system, who got the 350, he will be declared because he is the majority. Majority in the sense of the 4, 350 is the largest share, so he is declared elected. Even though compared to the total number of votes polled, he is a minority. Compared to the total voters in the constituency, he is a minority. So, but keeping the first past post system, he is declared elected even though he got only 300. Now, in this France system, the first 2 people who got maximum votes, that is one is 350, another is 250. These 2 will be chosen and the second round will be held between them. Remember, the second round of election is held when the first round does not produce the winner who gets the majority of votes polled, that is 50 plus, 50% plus. In the next round, the 2 highest votes getting representatives fight for 50% plus vote. Whoever gets the majority is declared a winner. This is also called 2 ballot system or runoff election. The second round being called runoff round. I think you should be able to understand. Our system, technically it is largest number of vote. But compared to the number of votes polled, it is a minority. Compared to the total number of votes, it is a minority. But we say because he got the largest number of votes. But in France, the topmost 2 people will be contesting for getting 50% plus vote. So, whoever got in the second round, adding to the first, if he gets more than 50%, then he is declared elected. That is called French system, that is runoff election or 2 ballot system. Kindly understand, it is very important in the sense, in India what system is followed. Even though the first past the post system is not a very good system, India adopted this system for 3 reasons. What are the 3 reasons? It is very simple to administer. The country is very huge and the electorate is not very literate. So, it is most convenient. Thirdly, it is relatively inexpensive. So, kindly understand, FPT, that is FTPT system, FPTP system, first past the post system. This system is in vogue in India, and what are the plus and minus I have told you. However, it has got certain defects. What are the defects? Number 1, there are a few states in India where there are 3 or 4 recognized political parties, more or less evenly balanced. For example, take UP, BSP, SP, BJP. These 3 are evenly balanced. In such a situation, the winning candidate in many constituencies gets not more than 30% or even less of valid votes polled. Those who cast the remaining 70% of the vote are unrepresented. So you understand? The most of the, for example, I will give another example. In 15th Lok Sabha, as per the reports, in 15th Lok Sabha held in May 2009, a report says that 145 MPs secured less than 20% of the votes. In other words, 80% of the voters voted against the winner. See what type of democracy this is? 145 MPs have got less than 20% votes in their constituency. That is, each MP is opposed by 80% of the people, still he is representing the constituency. So, this is one defect. In addition, this system creates a distortion between the votes polled by the party and the seats secured in the legislature. The votes polled by the ruling party may be marginally more than the nearest rival. Maybe more than the nearest rival by margin. But the seats secured by the ruling party is substantially more. So there is no correlation. Another situation is also evidence, where a political party polling substantial portion of votes in general election is not able to get a single seat in parliament or state legislature in the state. For example, as per a report, in 2014 Lok Sabha elections, BSP got a substantial vote share, but that party did not get a seat in Lok Sabha. Why? Because of this system. All marginal number of defeat. Another system is, the third system which is in vogue is called proportional system of single transferable vote, which we have already seen when we dealt with election of president. That is, President of India is elected by a system of proportional representation by single transferable vote. What is proportional representation? What is single transferable vote? We have already seen, which is followed in President, Vice President and Members of Parliament for Rajya Sabha. However, this system is not advocated because of its complexity. All over India, to follow this system, proportional representation system, will be very complex. So, nobody is keen to switch over to this system. Now, we have up to this, first we have seen what is the defect in the present system. Secondly, as far as electoral reforms are concerned, there are various committees and commissions which suggested a number of electoral reforms. We will see the important committee. There are many committees, but from the examination point of view, we will see a very few important committees. First committee you should keep in mind is Tarkunde Committee. Tarkunde Committee of 1974, appointed by Jayaprakash Narayan during his Total Revolution movement. Report submitted in 1975. Very important committee. It is a turning point in the electoral reform. JP movement. Total Revolution 1974, appointed by Jayaprakash Narayan, and Total Revolution report submitted in 1975. First thing you should remember. Second is Dinesh Goswami Committee of 1990. Dinesh Goswami Committee of 1990. This is VP Singh type. 1990. He made a number of suggestions, and in 1996 these were implemented, which we will come later on. The third committee is Vora Committee. Vora Committee on Nexus between the Crime and the Politics of 1993. Vora Committee, Nexus. Nexus means collusion, complicity between the criminals and the politicians of 1993. Then Election Commission made certain recommendations in 1998. 1998. Then also again, Indrajit Gupta committee, very important committee, was the under Devagowda government, he was the Home Minister, and this committee was appointed during Vajpayee time, BJP time, 1998. This committee justified state funding of elections and is in public interest. His first time, this committee justified state funding of election and said this is in public interest. The report of next comes the report of 2002 by National Commission to review the Constitution. This commission was headed by Justice M.N. Venkatachalaya. The Election Commission report then followed by Election Commission submitted another report on electoral reforms in 2004. Then second Administrative Reforms Commission headed by Veerappa Moily, they submitted a report in 2007 on ethics in governance. Then Tanka Committee, Tanka, T-A-N-K-H-A, very important committee of 2010. Then Justice Verma Committee of 2013. 2013, he suggested Code of Criminal Procedure, that is amendments in that code with reference to the election. 2013, very important. Justice Verma is a very extremely honest and popular person. These are all the committees which you should, the year and the committee regarding electoral reform. You should keep these, about 10 committees are there. You should keep in mind, some committee will come definitely. Just year you remember what for they have been constituted, remember that. Now let us examine one by one, year wise. Number 1. First is, as we have already seen, voting age reduced from 21 years to 18 years. PT1 through 61st Constitutional Amendment Act 1988. PT2. What is the purpose? To help the youth to be in the political process. Then, when it was effective, 28th March 1989. Rajiv Gandhi resigned. At 1989, there was election. In that election, it was effective. What was amended in consequence? RPA 50 and RPA 51. That is, Representation of People Act 1950 was amended. Representation People Act 1951 was also amended. So, first thing you should remember is this 21 years reduced to 18 years through 61st Constitutional Amendment Act 1988 to help the youth to be brought in the political process. This is effective from 28th March 1989 by amending RPA 50 and RPA 51. Remember, this 18 years is, what is the cut-off date? 1st January of the year. 1st January of the year. Now, in 1988, a provision was made that the officers and staff engaged in preparation, revision, updation of electoral rolls, or any officer taken for the services of the Commission will be deemed to be on deputation to the Election Commission for the period of such deputation. Suppose I belong to some service. Let us say I belong to Indian Postal Service. I am working in the Department of Post. Let us say if my services are taken for temporarily by the Election Commission, so my loyalty will be only with my department. I will not be sincere to the Election Commission. But what they have done is, so long I am on deputation, so long I am on temporary duty with the Election Commission, the borrowing authority, that is the Election Commission, will have full disciplinary control over me. He enjoys all powers of appointing authority for the purpose of suspension. He can suspend me for any misbehavior, and even he can impose minor penalty in consultation with my department, and he cannot impose major penalty. He can send me out. You say, the adopted child, you are mischievous, you go back. So, these powers has been given to the election commission. So, till then we will complete it. We will see in the next class in continuation what are the other electoral reforms. Thank you.